You know what else is a war? The trade war.
Okay, all right. Let's go to a lighter war that doesn't involve
Let's go to a war with no
a lot
of
of
guns.
death. Yeah,
but, you know,
please.
who knows where we're going to leave.
The thing is, it could get some guns involved eventually.
That's why I'm wearing my goats.
Do not. That can't be our
That'll
lemonade
be the
stand
end of
curse.
everything, by the way.
That could not
if
be
we
this week's
eliminate
curse.
stand curse World War III, Aiden, you bite your fucking tongue. I'm wearing this as a message of peace to Xi Jinping, all right? I'm wearing my Xi shirt
Wow.
to bring the American Xi Jinping
Inside
prospect.
of you, there are 3 Gs.
Yes. Yes, there are. And the trade war has escalated, and I just want to give an update on a real line has been, I would say, crossed in the trade war recently that is leading to massive movements on both sides. So I brought this special top secret container of rare earth metals that I shipped in from China, which is the only place where, no, you can't look at it.
I can't look at the minerals?
No, you can't look
I
at
guess
it.
they
I'll
are
show
pretty
you
rare.
them. We all know that there's been a trade war between the United States and China, pretty much kicked off by the United States. They were the ones that first put on the tariffs and have been trying to reshore manufacturing from China. And they've also been doing restrictions on AI chips and data center chips and top level technology stuff to prevent it from getting to Chinese hands. Okay, so that was the impetus, but it's been sort of at a standstill. They've had negotiations, but nothing's really changed. Recently, China, like a few days ago, China announced what is a massive escalation in this war, which is a restriction of rare earth metals to everyone else in the world. You know, I'm not gonna get into it. So this is a rare earth bombshell. Now, if you don't know, a little context, China accounts for half of the global rare earth mining and 90% plus of processing, which means essentially, in effect, if you make anything that use rare earth metals, you will be working with China. It will be going through, yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
They're called rare earth minerals. Are they rare?
We're gonna get to that. Okay? Thank you for setting that up, but you do it in 3 slides.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
Ask it again.
Set me up again later.
Okay, ask
Yeah,
it again.
okay.
Ask it again. The United States, for example, we have one rare earth mine in California, Mountain Valley, and no rare earth processing. So this is how the United States gets rare earth minerals from its own California. They mine it out of the ground, they get big lumps of dirt and rock, and they ship it to China, who then processes it and then ships it back. That is how we do it, and that's how most countries do it. Yeah, sure.
They're called rare earth minerals.
No!
Or is it actually rare?
Hold off. Okay, I want to look at this graph. You can see very easily that China is dominant in global output of rare earth minerals. United States in
And this
second.
is after refining, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is 70% of the actual usable stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
damn.
Yes. So there are a number of rare earth minerals, actually 12, that China have put or export restrictions on. But I want to talk specifically about these 7. They have absolute leverage, absolute dominance over these minerals. You basically cannot build things that use them. So this right here, Doug, is samarium. Do you know what samarium is used for? That's right. Nuclear reactors, electronics, magnets. Okay. This is gadolinium. You can't eat them. Okay.
Did you just lick it?
This is used for data storage, again, nuclear reactors, MRI, high frequency contrast agents, and of course, defense like sonar and sensors. This is terbium. It's used for fuel cells, LED lights, smartphones, TV screens. Again, requires China. This is dysprosium. Again, they have 99% market share in this. Dysprosium used for electric vehicles, for wind turbines, for, again, nuclear reactors, EV transition. It's critical for an EV transition for any country. And you cannot do it without dysprosium, and you can't do that without China.
So they put one of these in my car.
That's right. They stick it in there, and
and it turns on.
it's like the reactor in Back to the Future.
Okay.
This is lutetium. I don't even know. Lutetium. Medical imaging, catalyst, high electronics, yttrium, LEDs,
Whoa, this one looks
superconductors, medical, ceramics.
I can see why this
alloys.
one is worth a lot. This is a cool looking mineral.
And of course, finally, we have the one everyone's trying to get into, scandium. This is for creating light aircraft, like light high-tech aircraft. It's used for, again, fuel cells, 3D printing, a lot of high-tech stuff, okay? Strategic takeaway. Yeah, you want to raise your hand?
Is they're called rare earth minerals, but I don't understand why so many people are trying to get into scandium, but not the others.
That's a great question. First of all of these rocks are not what I said they were. They're just rocks from around the town.
Oh, dude. Wait, what's the one I licked?
I'm sick of you two. Can I say? Can I
okay.
derail for a second? I'm sick of you two making long-winded presentations where you rug pull.
Little bait and switches. Yeah, this is just a box full of rocks that I found.
Just fully believed him.
Yeah, no, I did, yeah.
However,
Come to think about it, I don't know how you would have gotten all of this.
yeah,
in
trying to
3
get
days.
these is actually very difficult. You can only get them in like school level sizes because China will not export them to you via Amazon. And
To
like-
prove my point about how China won't export this, here's a box
That I
of
just
rare
bought,
earth minerals. Yeah.
Yeah, but all the things I said were correct. So obviously, this has thrown Western companies and basically anyone who's not in China into chaos. This is what a rare earth mine looks like. And these are the elements. Okay, so again, these are actual elements that are fundamental to the earth around us. China has restricted the world from using these elements without their permission, and then recently added 5 more. So now there are 12 elements that essentially China has declared sovereignty over, which means, I want to explain, I read through the MOFCOM announcement. If you want to make anything that uses these and has even 0.01% from a Chinese source, which they pretty much all do, you must send an application to the Chinese government, get it approved. You cannot resell what you make to another country without proof from China. They're not just selling you the rare earth, they are selling you the right to use it in anything, and anything you make with it, you cannot sell to someone else. They are declared total authority over these minerals that they have 90% control over.
They've like trademarked rocks.
So it's a pretty big line in the sand. Like, it's got people freaking out. Now, where did they learn how to do this specific plan and idea? Let me show you an example. So this is ultraviolet technology developed in San Diego. And it happens to be used at ASML in the Netherlands to make their gigantic lithography machines that are used to make chips. Because they use this tiny part from San Diego in this massive machine, America has said, you cannot export to anyone else in the world because you have a 1% American product in it. And so we will ban you from selling it to any of these countries in red, and we will make you get approval for any of the countries in blue. Or in yellow, I'm sorry. This is the exact model that China is now rolling out for their dominance of rare earths. It is between America and high-end tech and China and rare earths, and they are both restricting how anyone else in the country and in the world acts based on their original input. So ask me a question. Doug.
Rare earth mineral name, is it?
Great question, Doug. That's a really wise question. Rare earths are a bit of a misnomer. They're not that rare. In fact, every single day you will see a new announcement from some country saying, oh, we discovered millions of tons of rare earth minerals. Kazakhstan found 20 million tons. Even China just found another
20 million tons. I looked like barely any.
They're really heavy. They're really heavy. Sweden, you might talk about this, Aiden, said they found the largest deposit of rare earth metals in Europe. And then right after that, Norway said, no, we found the largest deposit of rare earth metals. And I was thinking, are these the same deposit? You guys are right next to each other. But no, they are a 15-day walk apart. Okay, there's Aiden right there saying, wow. Every country does it. Wyoming has said they just found a massive, everyone does it all the time. And the comments in all these videos are like, oh, well, get fucked, China. Now we have our own. But the truth of the matter is they've never been rare. They exist in huge quantities all over the world. The hard part is refining them. And countries that do manufacturing like Germany are realizing how risky this is because they use this stuff all the time and now have to go apply to China for everything. And if it has any defense impact, China automatically denies on principle. That's what they said.
The initial concern with why a lot of these countries didn't want to refine them in the first place or develop the supply chain to do so was environmental, right?
Yeah, it's 2-part. One part is environmental. This stuff is pretty rough on the environment. You have to get massive quantities of essentially dirt, and then you filter them through with like very dangerous chemicals that often seep into groundwater. And then that brings out the tiny trace amounts of the rare earth metals that you then refine enough to have enough to use. So it's like really raping the environment. I don't know the better word. It's like bad. It's like really bad. Like every area that does this has problems with like rivers getting tons of toxic chemicals in them. The land looks completely ravaged. But like this is how you get rare earth minerals. And you just need to find a mine that is far enough from human activity to do it because it is required for literally all the latest tech and defense stuff. That's how it works now, okay? And so most people just offshore their refining to China. They just like, they don't look at it, but they get the dirt and they send it there. And it's now become concerning not only to Germany, but all of Europe. Europe's entire manufacturing base is dependent on this, and China can cut it off at will. Now, I want to say that China is not currently threatening to just cut it off. They're basically saying, you apply to us, we're going to approve pretty much everything. If it has anything to do with defense, we're going to say no on principle. If it has anything to do with high-tech AI stuff, we're going to say no if you're touching America. That's sort of what they've said. And it's put, everyone at high alert.
That guy looks like he's going to go burn down the Navi's tree.
He looks like he's about to pop a blood vessel at getting some scandium.
He looked upset that there's any trees left near the rare earth minerals.
So in response to this high-tech threat, again, we talked about this before, America closing its grip on high-end AI chips has caused, things to slip through their fingers, as in China is now full speed ahead trying to get outside of building their AI chips. This is exactly what's happening in reverse with China. They have chosen this moment to draw the line and make their stand, but they are sowing the seeds of their own undoing because everyone is working full speed now because they know the risk. So France, which has huge nuclear power capabilities and a depository of rare earths, is investing a ton in making their own rare earth refining plants. Australia, their president, Albanese, prime minister, came out and said, this is our greatest opportunity. We're going to do $1 trillion deal with America. We have a ton of rare earths. We have the ability to work on it. This could be a huge growth industry for Australia.
That would probably be huge for Australia too, because their mining sector is so gigantic and it's sort of a drag in the sense that they are so reliant on that sector for economic growth. So if you could develop the supply chain a little more and add on to that, long run for Australia, that probably has to be so beneficial.
Exactly. So the big thing, it goes back to the book we read, Breakneck, is that this stuff is hard and it requires a lot of expertise. All that expertise is located in China. You can't just one-off throw money at it. You really have to build up this process knowledge of doing it a lot for a long time. And if you try to just half-heartedly do it or throw a factory here and there, not only will you not be good at it, but you will be uncompetitive compared to China, who can do it at a bigger scale and cheaper. And in the past, every time someone's tried to set up a competing rare earth production facility, China just lowers the prices, undercuts them, makes them non-economical, and they go out of business. It's been almost a decade-long plan to set up this total control of rare earths that they are now putting into play as a way to punch back in the trade war, which, they have a right to do because they're being attacked and they're trying to but it's what's happening.
Real quick, it sounds like because so much of the world sends their rare earth minerals to China for refinement, that in theory, a country like Australia could set up a just ton of refinement plants, for example, in the desert, because they have so much open space, right? So in theory, countries that are willing to, designate a lot of land that doesn't need to be that environmentally maintained, it could in theory get very successful.
In theory, of course, there's nothing unique about China that makes them able to do this, but they have just done it so consistently for so long and have such a dominance that it's hard to break in. But that's why this move is big, because before this move, everyone that tried to do it was like, guys, this is important. China has too much dominance, we need to do it. Everyone's like, yeah, okay. But then when push came to shove and it wasn't profitable, they were like, you lose.
Yeah.
But now it's seen as a strategic threat. So governments are willing to prop up companies that aren't yet profitable to make sure that the rare earth supply chain works outside of China.
It probably helps that all of these countries are interested in doing this around the same time as well, right?
Yes.
A wave of them doing it at once rather than one country trying to break in on its own.
Yes, it's kind of becoming public. Everyone is now realizing at once what a threat this is, what risk, because they cannot have their own fighter jet program. They can't have their own there's a lot of high-end EV program. They can't do that anymore without China's approval, and they can cut it off at any moment.
And to be clear, also semiconductors, which power AI, which is powering our entire stock market and economy.
100%.
It's everything.
It's the same thing that China and Russia and a lot of those red countries are realizing about semiconductors, which is that America can cut off at any moment, okay? And so they have to get out of that thumb. So what does this mean? It means, number one, that stupid fucking Aiden is going to win our stock competition for sure.
Dude, I was about to tell you guys, I don't know if you've checked the metals company.
Yeah.
That shit is broken $10.
Yeah.
I bought this at $1.
Yeah. 948% gain this year. And it's because companies like the metals company, and I'm not talking about just literally 150 different companies that are in the rare earth space are all skyrocketing. Because everyone around the world in the past 5 days has realized that all at once, we need our own rare earth minerals, and money is flowing from governments into this.
Atriarch actually took this presentation from my personal hard drive from 9 months ago.
You planned this?
Why did you invest in TMC?
He saw a Vice documentary.
Deadass.
Wait, is this one about undersea mining? This
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
even
yeah.
the goddamn it.
Yeah,
That's
I went
not
back-
even the right reason for
I went
investing.
back and found the video of the one I watched. It's like a 10-minute MSNBC piece about the company or something. And it just really stuck with me because I saw follow-up articles. And then when we did the draft, I was like, I can only think of one company that I've actually researched. And then I just picked it. Because in my head, it was like energy, electric cars, minerals.
Yeah.
Surely
Those
that'll
all-
go up. And you
it
just
did.
backed me up.
And it fucking did. All right. This has become the most important thing in the world this year for almost every developed economy. And so it's happening. So in response, we talked about the follow-up where Trump, you can take